On the Mayfly bench, there's Dr. Z EZG50 and this Keeley Electronics Katana Clean Boost. So this amp and pedal is owned by a professional player who plays a lot of gigs around town. This particular setup is part of his country and western rig. Must be a fan of Brad Paisley. The complaint is that when he connects the last effect in his pedal board, this thing, to the amplifier, he gets crackling, gross, loud pops when he wiggles this end of the cable and when he wiggles this end of the cable. Now bear in mind that this rig gets plugged and unplugged over and over again for every rehearsal and for every show. I suspect that these two jacks here and here are worn out and they need replacing. Let's take things apart and find out. Here we have the Clean Boost open on the bench. It's an interesting study in compact electronics, and I really quite like how it's designed. You see here, this printed circuit board is mounted directly to the switch, and the switch is connected to the chassis mechanically through this nut. Everything else is fly wire, nice short tight wires. It's really beautiful actually, this is the way it's designed. Now the jack in question is this guy right here. I've already gone ahead and replaced it. This particular component is a high quality switchcraft jack, but it is worn. You can tell it's been oval inside there now, and it probably rocks back and forth quite a bit, even though it's still fairly springy. But the new one's installed, the fly wire coming from here over to there. You can see that to get it in there, you had to flatten out some of the tabs. And that is the Clean Boost. I forgot to mention, in addition to changing the jack, I actually filed away some of the white powder coat around the jack of the edge to make sure that it's got a good ground connection to the chassis. Originally I never had a wired connection, and I didn't want to mess with that design philosophy, so I just made sure that it had a very good connection to the chassis by removing the powder coat around the inside. So filed it off, used some Q-tips, some contact cleaner, and finally some compressed air to get rid of the debris, and should be making good connection now. Here we have the Dr. Z on the bench. And this thing is beautiful. This is an extremely well constructed in-wired amplifier. The circuit appears to be pretty much black-face Fender with a few twists and turns here and there. Having said that, I haven't analyzed it in any great detail. But with the exception of a master volume pre-Pi, it appears to me to be pretty much black-face Fender. But it sounds great, and it's well built. This thing will probably outlast the original owner, and maybe the next owner after that. Gone ahead and pulled out the original input jack. Here it is. This is a high-quality switchcraft jack, and I was attached to the shielded cable with some very short connections, very nice and tight and very neatly done. And this one's worn as well. The problem with these enclosed jacks is the spring inside there is not nearly as robust as the spring on the open frame jacks, and they do wear out over time, and this one's pretty floppy. So the new jack is installed and put in place. I used a new resistor from my parts bin rather than try to reuse the resistor on this jack, because it is tightly attached in there, and I figured I might overstress it mechanically if I were to attempt to remove it. So I just went ahead and used a brand new one. My component is a metal film component, and the wires attached to the input tube, and there you have it. Here we have the Dr. Z turned on, plugged into my little speaker cabinet, connected to the pedal board. First thing to try, no gross sounds when you move the jack. Excellent. Back over to the pedal board. No gross sounds when you use the jack. The little scratching you hear is the Velcro that the pedal's attached to.